The ballroom of the Four Seasons in Midtown Manhattan glitters with crystal light and expensive perfume. Cameras drift between tables. Socialites smile like they are paid to. Tonight is supposed to be Isabella Cole's perfect ending. Before the announcement, she has already endured 100 small performances. A senator's wife squeezes her hand and says, "You finally did it." A childhood rival lifts a glass and smiles too wide. Photographers call her name as if she is a brand. Isabella answers with the version of herself that never sweats. Marcus murmurs, "Smile," while his fingers rest on her waist like a claim. She stands in a custom ivory gown, a vintage diamond tiara catching every flash. Marcus Gray, heir to Gray Development, stands beside her with the calm of a man who thinks the room belongs to him. The host lifts the microphone to begin the vows. Marcus reaches out first and takes the microphone instead, cutting the music in half. "Thank you for coming," he says. "I have an announcement." Isabella feels the air change. Her smile locks in place. Effective immediately. Marcus continues. "The engagement is cancelled." Gasps ripple through the crowd. Phones rise like a wave. Isabella stares at him. "Marcus, what are you saying?" He does not look at her. He looks down the aisle at a woman in pale green. There is a beat where Isabella expects someone to interrupt, to laugh, to say it is a cruel joke. No one moves. The string quartet keeps playing for 2 more seconds, then dies in confusion. "Lena," he says. "Come here." Lena Petrova steps forward and slides under his arm with practiced ease. Her smile is soft. Her eyes are sharp. Isabella's throat tightens. "You were my best friend." Lena tilts her head. "And I am sorry it hurts," she says sweetly. "But Marcus and I are real. You should not trap him in a pretty picture." Marcus finally turns to Isabella, expression cool. "Isabella, you are beautiful. That is all you have. You are decoration, not a partner." The words land like a slap with an audience. A reporter calls out, "Is this because of Petrova energy?" Marcus smiles for the cameras. "I am choosing what is best for my future." Isabella hears whispers and laughter, the hungry kind that comes from people who are glad it is not them. She looks toward her parents. Her mother sits rigid, lips thin. Her father avoids her eyes. Her mother's eyes flick over Isabella's gown, then away, as if the fabric itself is responsible. Isabella understands in that moment that the room is not divided into friends and strangers. It is divided into spectators and entertainment. No one stands for her. Isabella feels the urge to collapse. To beg. To scream. She swallows it all. She steps close to Marcus, voice low. "You are humiliating me." Marcus shrugs. Humiliation fades. "You will be fine." Something inside Isabella goes still. She faces the room, shoulders squared. She lifts both hands and removes the tiara. It is heavy with family pride, with borrowed shine. She drops it. The diamonds crack against marble. The sound silences the room. "Remember this night," Isabella says, voice clear. "Laugh while you can. Film while you can. One day you will remember who you mocked." She looks at Marcus and Lena. "You threw me away like I was nothing. One day you will learn what it costs to mistake a person for a prop." She turns and walks out alone, gown sweeping behind her like a tide that refuses to break. Outside, winter bites. Manhattan smells like exhaust and ambition. Her phone begins to vibrate in her clutch, notification after notification, as if the city is laughing in her palm. She does not look. She cannot. A woman near the revolving door whispers, "That is her," and then turns her own camera toward Isabella like a trophy hunter. Isabella keeps walking until the cold turns her cheeks numb. A driver asks if she wants to go home. Isabella laughs once, sharp and hollow. "Anywhere but there," she says. The car pulls away. The hotel glows behind her like a stage she has escaped. By morning the headlines will feast. Isabella closes her eyes and lets the rage settle into a vow. This is not the end. This is the beginning. The week after the engagement, disaster feels like living inside a tabloid. Her mother calls once. "Do not post anything. Do not respond. Do not embarrass us." Her father sounds like a board meeting. "Your face is everywhere. Fix it." When Isabella returns to the family townhouse, a lawyer is already waiting in the foyer. "We will cover your rent for 3 months." Her mother says. "After that you are on your own. You made it worse." He cancelled the engagement in public. Isabella says. And you made a scene. Her mother replies, ice cold. The Cole name looks weak. Isabella realizes they do not want her. They want control. She packs one suitcase and leaves. Her Brooklyn apartment is small, cheap, and honest. The first night, she sits on the floor because she has not bought furniture yet. A siren wails outside. Someone laughs in the hallway. The loneliness is so sharp it feels physical. She almost calls Marcus, not to forgive him, but to scream. She does not. She stares at her own hands instead, and wonders what they are for. The next morning she searches for jobs. Receptionist. Gallery assistant. Event planner. Every interview ends the same way, polite smiles and careful words. You are overqualified. Or worse. You are a distraction. The window rattles when the subway passes. No staff. No flowers. No safety net. Online, Marcus posts a photo with Lena captioned, "Freedom." A former friend texts, "Maybe you should have tried harder to be interesting." Then deletes it too late. A charity board removes her name from their website within hours. A fashion brand that once begged her to wear their dress sends a polite email. "We are pausing collaboration indefinitely." Every door that opened for her beauty closes the second her beauty becomes inconvenient. Lena posts champagne and the words, "New beginnings." The comments call Isabella a doll. A joke. A warning label. Isabella throws her phone under the couch and walks until her legs burn. She ends up in Chinatown by accident, drawn by steam and shouting and the smell of roasted duck. She turns into a narrow lane to escape the crowd, and finds a small wooden door with frosted glass. Stillwater Tea Studio. No neon. No glamour. Just quiet. A bell chimes when she enters. Warm air wraps around her. Shelves of teapots line the walls. The room smells like wood, smoke, and something clean. An older woman pours hot water with steady hands. Silver hair braided down her back. Dark cardigan. No jewelry. She looks up. Her eyes are sharp and calm. "You are carrying a storm." The woman says. Isabella stiffens. "Excuse me." The woman points to a chair. "Sit. Drink. Storms make people thirsty." Isabella sits. A small cup appears in front of her. Pale gold tea. Soft scent, not sweet, not trying too hard. She sips. Heat spreads through her chest. Her shoulders drop before she can stop them. The woman sits across from her. Name. Isabella. Isabella Cole. The girl from the hotel. The woman says. Then, with a shrug. "I do not care about your scandal. I care about your face. It is tired." Isabella blinks, caught off guard by the lack of pity. "Everyone cares." Isabella mutters. "Everyone is bored." The woman replies. "They eat your pain because it is not theirs." The words sting because they are true. "Who are you?" Isabella asks. "In newspapers, Grace Chen." The woman says. "In tea circles, people call me Master Chen. I dislike titles." Isabella has heard the name. The tea artisan who trained champions and vanished. "Teach me," Isabella says before fear can stop her. Grace Chen studies her. "You want tea for revenge. I want change." Isabella says, voice tight. "I want to stop feeling like nothing." Grace pours more tea. Approval is cheap. Self-respect is expensive. Isabella grips the cup. "If I learn, I can rebuild." Not as a joke people pass around. Grace's gaze does not soften. "Rebuild for yourself. Revenge will keep you warm for a season. Discipline will keep you alive." Isabella nods once. "Then teach me discipline. I will pay." Isabella says. Grace stands and places a broom in Isabella's hands. "First lesson." Grace says. "Sweep. If you cannot respect the dust, you will never respect the leaf." Isabella looks at the broom, then nods. She starts sweeping. When she finishes, her dress is dirty and her arms ache. Grace gestures toward the back room. "Tomorrow, 5 a.m. be late and do not return." Isabella grips the broom. "I will be here." Outside, Chinatown roars again, but Isabella walks into the noise with a new kind of quiet in her spine. Not hope. Something harder. A plan. The first month is not romantic. It is brutal. Isabella arrives before dawn. Grace Chen is always already there, as if sleep is a luxury for people who have nothing to teach. "Boil the water." Grace says. "Then cool it, then boil again." "Why twice?" Isabella asks. Grace does not answer. Work earns answers, not questions. Isabella washes cups until her fingers wrinkle. She polishes teapots until her wrists burn. She sorts leaves by scent and sighs until her eyes blur. Grace corrects her without softness. Greedy poor. Grace snaps. Tea punishes greed. Loud posture. Grace says. Stillness is part of the brew. Racing mind. Grace says when Isabella drops a lid. If you cannot settle, the tea will not settle. At night Isabella stocks shelves at a bookstore for rent money, then practices with a cheap kettle at home. On her breaks she watches videos of tea service, pausing and rewinding until her eyes ache, then she shuts the phone off and practices anyway because Grace says imitation without understanding is vanity. Some nights she burns the leaves and the whole apartment smells bitter. She opens the windows and starts again. Some evenings she cries in the shower where the water hides it. Most evenings she sleeps like a stone. In Stillwater, tea does not care who humiliated her. It only cares whether she shows up. 3 months in, Grace lays out 3 piles of leaves. Smell. She orders. Isabella inhales. Honey and hay. Roasted nuts. A faint orchid note. Tell me. Grace says. Isabella closes her eyes and slows her breathing. White tea, sun-dried. She says. Roasted oolong. Jasmine-scented green. Grace studies her. Better. For the first time, Isabella feels pride that does not depend on applause. The second year is harder. Grace begins inviting quiet guests into Stillwater, people who do not announce themselves. An art curator with tired eyes. A retired judge. A chef who speaks like a knife. They sit, they drink, they watch Isabella. After each service Grace gives one sentence. Your hands are steady, your heart is not. Stop apologizing with your eyes. Do not perform humility, be humble. Grace adds calligraphy, not for art, but for control. Each stroke reveals impatience like a confession. You cannot bully the paper. Grace says. It shows your weakness. Grace teaches philosophy in short, sharp lessons. Isabella learns to speak less. To listen more. To let silence do work. She also learns business in the ugliest way, through bills and rent and the quiet terror of scarcity. Grace makes her count costs, negotiate suppliers, and refuse discounts offered for her face. Let them respect your craft. Grace says. Not your cheekbones. Hospitality is power without cruelty. Calm is not softness. Calm is a blade. Isabella changes. Simpler clothes. Quieter voice. Stronger spine. One rainy afternoon, a young woman appears in the doorway, soaked and shaking. We are closed. Grace says. Please. The woman begs. I just need to talk to someone who understands being crushed. She introduces herself as Skylar Lin, 22, Chinese American, eyes bright with fury and fear. My father's business is gone. Skylar says. Gray development buried us. My dad had a heart attack last week. The name hits Isabella like a spark. After Skylar leaves, Grace looks at Isabella. You want to chase your old life. Grace says. I want him to stop hurting people. Isabella replies, voice steady. Grace nods once. Tea teaches restraint. It does not teach cowardice. I am not a coward. Then keep training. Grace says. Power without skill is noise. Skill without purpose is empty. You will need both. The third year arrives. Isabella's hands are steady. Her palate is sharp. Her mind no longer flinches. One morning Grace sets a registration form on the table. Isabella's stomach flips. What if they laugh? They will. Grace says. Some people laugh at what they cannot hold. Do not carry their laughter. Isabella signs the form anyway, the pen steady. Outside, the city wakes. Inside, something in her locks into place. Competition season. She says. You will go. Isabella's heart jumps. Me. Yes. Grace says. Under a name that is not your family's. Your fame is a cage. We will see who you are without it. Isabella stares at the pale leaves in the tin. What name? She asks. Grace taps the tin. White tea. She says. Simple, patient, unshakable. Isabella lifts her head. White tea. Grace nods. Go earn it. The International Tea Arts Championship is held in a bright gallery on the west side. Isabella hates the lights at first. They feel like cameras. Grace stands behind her, silent, grounding. Competitors arrive with banners and sponsors. Isabella arrives with one wooden tray, one kettle, and her hands. When her turn comes, she breathes the way Grace taught her and lets the breath settle deep. She warms the cups. She greets the leaves. She pours. Her movements are clean and unhurried. Steam rises. The scent spreads, soft and deep, drawing the judges in without begging. A judge closes his eyes as he sips. Another leans forward, startled. A third smiles before he can stop himself. When she finishes, the silence holds for a heartbeat, then applause breaks, real and unforced. After the ceremony, a judge approaches her station. "Why white tea?" he asks. Isabella answers without rehearsed poetry. "Because it does not hide behind roasting or perfume. It tells the truth. If I am careless, it is thin. If I am patient, it sings." The judge nods as if he has been waiting for that answer for years. That night Isabella wins. Her name appears on a screen. White tea. The interviews come fast. Isabella answers carefully. "Tea is honesty," she says. "It rewards presence, not ego." The press calls her a mystery. Invitations arrive. Brands offer money. Luxury hotels offer stages. Grace rejects most of them with a frown. "Too loud," she says. "Too hungry." Isabella learns to say no. When she opens her own space, she chooses a storefront in Manhattan that used to be a florist. Warm wood floors. Wide windows. A small back garden. She names it Clearleaf House. On opening night, Isabella refuses a ribbon cutting. She refuses a celebrity host. Instead she lights one candle and pours the first cup herself. A woman in pearls tries to push past the line, waving an invitation like a weapon. Skylar blocks her. "Reservations only. Do you know who I am?" The woman snaps. Skylar smiles. "No, and neither does the tea." The woman leaves furious and Isabella does not chase her. The guests who stay speak in quieter voices. They leave with slower breathing. Word travels, not through photos, but through relief. No gold letters. No celebrity photos. Only a wait list and a rule. Respect the tea. Respect the room. Or leave. Skylar Lynn becomes her first official apprentice. Skylar shows up early, stays late, and never complains when Isabella assigns her to wash cups until midnight. "I do not want charity," Skylar says once. "This is not charity," Isabella replies. "This is training. Earn your place." Clearleaf House becomes a quiet magnet. Artists, investors, judges, and leaders come for calm they cannot buy anywhere else. Isabella builds a network without champagne. Respect replaces gossip. Then a reservation request lands on Isabella's desk. Guest Mr. Jong, private investor. Skylar searches the request history and finds the note. "Mar. Jong. I will bring 2 people. They will not be comfortable, neither should you." Isabella reads that line twice. Mar. Jong knows. He wants to see who she is when the past walks in. Isabella sets the paper down. "Then we show him," she says. Additional guests Marcus Gray and Lena Gray. Skylar stiffens. "They are coming here." Isabella reads the names again. Her pulse spikes, but her face stays calm. "We serve them like anyone else," Isabella says. Refusal gives them power. The day arrives. Marcus walks in first, still expensive, still sharp, but the confidence sits on him differently now. It has cracks. Lena follows, draped in designer fabric, scanning the room like she is hunting for weakness. Isabella steps out from behind a curtain in a simple black dress, hair pinned back, hands bare. Marcus stops short. His eyes widen. He does not know what to do with a woman he can no longer control. "White tea," he says carefully. "Mr. Gray, Mrs. Gray." Isabella replies evenly. "Welcome to Clearleaf House. Please follow me." At the table, Isabella pours tea as if the past does not exist. Mar. Jong watches quietly. Marcus watches Isabella with growing disbelief. Lena tries to smile. "So this is you now," she says. "Interesting. Tea changes people." Isabella replies and pours the next round. Lena's gaze sharpens. "I have heard you used to be part of the social scene." "Rumors are cheap," Isabella says. Marcus clears his throat. "Your work is exceptional," he says softly. "Mr. Jong speaks highly of you." "Mr. Jong is kind," Isabella answers. Lena sips, then sets her cup down with a click. Well, she says, forcing a laugh. If Marcus had not ended the engagement, you might still be playing dress-up in ballrooms. Mar. Jane's expression cools. Isabella does not react. She simply pours again. Some lessons require pain. Isabella says, voice calm. I learned mine. I hope you learned yours. Lena flushes. Marcus leans forward, voice low. Can we talk privately after this? No. Isabella says. Marcus blinks. 5 minutes. No. Isabella repeats and pours the final cup. When the session ends, Mr. John leaves first, offering Isabella a small nod of respect. Marcus hesitates at the door. I would like another appointment. He says. Our schedule is full for 3 months. Isabella replies. Lena's heels click as she storms out. Marcus follows, looking back once like he is searching for a door he used to own. Skylar steps beside Isabella when the bell finally stops chiming. He is coming back. Skylar says. Isabella's voice is quiet, steady. Let him. She says. This time the door stays closed. Marcus Gray tries the polite way first. Calls. Flowers. A rare antique tea set. A letter in his own handwriting. Isabella returns the flowers. Donates the gift. Locks the letter in a drawer without opening it. One afternoon Lena appears instead, arriving in sunglasses and perfume, like she has stepped out of a magazine. She asks for a private session, and when Skylar says no, Lena laughs. Isabella will see me. Lena says. We have history. Isabella hears the voice and steps out, expression unreadable. Lena removes her sunglasses slowly. Look at you. She says. You always did know how to reinvent the packaging. What do you want? Isabella asks. Lena lowers her voice. Marcus is struggling. The board is watching him. If he loses everything, I lose everything. Isabella says nothing. Lena leans in, smiles sharp. You could help him. Help us. You could get something out of it too. An investment. A partnership. A platform. Isabella's gaze is calm. You want my work to rescue your choices. Lena's lips thin. Do not pretend you are above wanting power. I want power. Isabella replies. I just do not want it from you. Lena's mask slips. You think you are better than me now. Isabella holds her gaze. I think I am free. That is what you hate. Lena steps back, anger bright. He will come back to you. She spits. Men always do. Then he will learn again. Isabella says. Lena leaves with her heels striking the floor like threats that no longer matter. Skylar watches, disgust written across her face. He thinks you are a door he can knock on until it opens. Let him knock. Isabella says. Doors are allowed to stay closed. Then Marcus shows up after closing, standing inside Clearleaf House with red roses and tired eyes. He uses her name like it is still his. Isabella. Skylar steps forward. We are closed. Marcus ignores her. I need to talk, just us. There is nothing to talk about. Isabella says, calm as stone. Marcus lifts the roses. I was wrong. I made the biggest mistake of my life. Skylar laughs, sharp. Which mistake? Humiliating her, or destroying my family? Marcus snaps. This is between Isabella and me. Everything you do spills onto other people. Skylar replies. That is your problem. Marcus turns back to Isabella, voice dropping into something he thinks is sincere. I did not realize what I lost until I saw you again. Give me a chance. We can start over. Isabella meets his gaze. Why now? Because you miss me, or because you need Mr. Zhang's money? Marcus hesitates. His silence answers for him. Skylar's smile is cold. There it is. Marcus's face flushes. It is not only money. I regret what I did. Lena was a mistake. Isabella's voice stays even. You chose her because you thought she was useful. Now you want me because you think I am useful. Marcus steps closer, desperation showing. I will do anything. Skylar moves between them again. No. She says. Marcus snarls. Move. Skylar does not. She pulls out her phone. I saved you a step. She says and taps play. Marcus's recorded voice fills the quiet room, smug and careless. White tea is useful. If I get her back on my arm, John will stop hesitating. Women like that always come back if you offer enough. The recording continues. And Lena is a problem now. Once I stabilize, I will handle the marriage. Skylar stops the audio. Marcus goes pale. That is not fair. He whispers. It is you. Skylar replies. And now it is public if I want it to be. Isabella looks at Marcus like she is checking water temperature. You have not changed. She says. You have only become more careful, and you are still not careful enough. Marcus's voice cracks. Isabella, please. Isabella steps beside Skylar, not behind her. The gesture is quiet, but it shifts the room. Leave. Isabella says. Marcus grips the roses until the stems bend. For a moment he looks like a boy who finally understands he cannot buy his way out. I can fix this. He whispers. Isabella does not answer. Marcus drops the roses on the floor and walks out into the night. Skylar closes the door. The bell chimes once, gentle and final. Snow begins to fall outside, soft as silence. Inside, Isabella pours 2 cups of tea. Tea teaches kindness. She says quietly. It also teaches boundaries. Skylar lifts her cup with shaking hands. I am glad you did not open the door. She says. Isabella's eyes are steady. I stopped living for doors. She replies. I started living for the work. The story spreads, not like gossip, but like a warning. Marcus Gray tried to reclaim the woman he humiliated. The door did not open. This time, the social pages do not frame Isabella as a victim. They frame her as a force. People call white tea ruthless. People call her inspiring. Isabella does not correct them. Clearleaf House expands carefully, city by city, never loud, never greedy. In New York, Isabella opens a small academy above the original shop. No fancy banners. Just tables, kettles, and a syllabus written in clean handwriting. Applicants line up anyway. Isabella accepts a few, not the richest, not the loudest, but the ones who show patience. The ones who can wash a cup without resentment. Grace watches the first class from the doorway and says nothing. Her silence feels like approval. Each space follows the same rule. Respect the room. Respect the tea. Or leave. Skylar grows into a master, not because Isabella crowns her, but because Skylar earns it. One day Skylar gets the call she has been waiting for. Her father is stable. A small investor is helping restart the family business. Skylar stands in the back garden with wet eyes. You helped without rescuing me. She says. Isabella taps her cup lightly against Skylar's. You stayed alive long enough to build again. She replies. Soon after, Gray Development collapses for real. A month later, Marcus sends one final email. No roses. No threats. Just a sentence. I did not know how to value anything that could not be measured. Isabella reads it once and deletes it. Skylar watches her. Do you feel anything? Isabella considers. I feel sorry. She says. Not for him, for the version of me that begged for his attention. Skylar nods slowly as if that is the real graduation. Lawsuits. Debt. A board vote. Marcus is pushed out. Lena disappears from the spotlight. The city moves on. Isabella hears the news the way you hear weather in a city you do not live in anymore. At the Global Tea and Culture Forum in Washington, D.C., Isabella is invited to speak. She steps onto the stage in a simple suit. No tiara. No borrowed shine. People think tea is delicate. She says. But tea survives fire. Tea survives pressure. Tea survives time. The room quiets. I used to believe my value was in approval. She continues. When approval was taken away, I thought I had nothing. I was wrong. She does not name Marcus. She does not name Lena. She does not name the ballroom. She does not need to. My teacher handed me a broom. Isabella says. She taught me that discipline is louder than applause. She taught me that calm can be a weapon. She taught me that boundaries are not cruelty. They are self-respect. Applause rises, steady and strong. Afterward, Mr. Jong approaches with a respectful smile. White tea. He says. I would like to invest in your academy. We will build it carefully. Isabella replies. At the edge of the room, Grace Chen watches, calm as ever. Isabella walks to her. You came. Grace nods once. I dislike crowds. I like results. Isabella smiles. Thank you. Do not thank me. Grace says. Thank your stubbornness. Outside, the sun sinks low, painting the city gold. On the terrace, Skylar joins Isabella with 2 cups. Do you ever miss it? Skylar asks. The spotlight. Isabella considers. I miss the idea of safety, she says. But the spotlight was never safe, it was only bright. Skylar nods. And Marcus. Isabella looks out at the horizon. He is a chapter, she says. Not the book. Skylar smiles. Then what is the book called? Isabella lifts her cup. The tea is pale, steady, patient. The tea queen, she says. Not because someone crowned me, because I stopped asking for crowns. They clink their cups gently. Below the terrace, the city continues, bright and indifferent. Isabella watches it with steady eyes. She is no longer the girl in a ballroom waiting for permission to exist. She is the woman who pours, who builds, who decides. And that is the only crown she keeps. The sound is small, almost nothing. And yet it is enough.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.